the poetry workshop. And now I want to go bring on Jesta here, and let me get back into Discord. And it seems like you're in the channel. Jesta, can you say hello?
Well, hi there.
Hey, fantastic! You're coming in loud and clear. Thank you to the folks that were setting up the audio for this. You and I have
Yep.
never spoken before, so I don't know what this is going to be about. But I got to tell you, I'm freaking thrilled to have you here. Thank you for doing it.
Well, I'm glad to be here. I mean, I know we talked a couple weeks ago, and I just generally am not around at this time of the day, but I'm just getting over a long work couple weeks and taking it easy tonight. So
Oh, perfect.
figured I'd
That's
hop on.
fantastic. No, it's awesome to have you here. There's a lot of places I'll go sort of related to Steemit that are like a nice to have, but I got to tell you, SteamDB and Vessel are two things that I've come to like. Basically, I can't really function without them. The Minnow Support Project has like maybe 15 different community accounts linked to it right now. And I'm managing at least 8 of those, and Vessel is saving me like hours to do that. So it's a nice product. It's really well designed. It's super intuitive. Thank you for creating that. I know you're the brains behind Vessel, and hopefully you'll put a link to the GitHub repository for Vessel in here so people can download their a wallet. It's freaking awesome.
Yeah, I can definitely do that. And I'm really glad you're getting use out of it and everybody else is. These are kind of things that I built that I really thought we needed to kind of advance things to the next level.
And now, how did you? You've been around for how long? Do you know what your account number is by chance?
Since June of last year, so a little over a year now.
Okay, all right. Well, how did you find Steemit? Like, what made you think, all right, I need to go find this particular blockchain and devote like hundreds of hours to it? How'd you get here?
Um, it was kind of by happenstance. I was looking for uh, different blockchain technologies. The thing that I worked on right before I really got involved in Steam was a community review site, kind of like Yelp. And I had been learning more about blockchains over the previous years, um, and then kind of stumbled into Steemit and realized this was a platform that did what I do, except in a blockchain.
So
So
what
it was kind of a really exciting opportunity.
what parts of this do you like? What are the things that like really attract you to this? What makes you feel like this is the place to spend time out of? There's like a million different coins that are out there. Why Steem it?
Like I was saying, the stuff that I worked on in the past, the review site, and before that, I was really deep into the gaming fan site industry. So I've been, well, and the gaming industry itself. I've spent the last 10 years or so working on like fan and community platforms. So stumbling into a system that kind of does what I'm passionate about and also involves blockchains, which is just something new and exciting to be a part of, um, really kind of hooked me.
So what do you think of as your biggest contribution? I mean, this is coming from a guy. I think you do like a ton of shit around here. What do
Uh,
you view as your biggest?
I think that Chain BB in the end is going to be one of the biggest. But right now I think Vessel probably is. I think people really need a wallet that they can put on their computer and keep their active key a little bit safer than putting it into a website.
Yeah, totally agree with that. Happy to keep using it. Especially like I can't believe I don't. I try not to complain. There's a lot of witnesses that are very active complainers about Steemit. Um, I kind of
Yep.
I kind of view this thing as like they're driving a race car and they're trying to fix it while they're driving it. So having worked in publishing for years and having seen really shitty development teams, we've gone through 19 different hard forks um, in what, like a year and a half or something. I mean,
Yeah.
that is a ton of iterations. So I'm not one of the guys that's out here like constantly harping on them. You're not doing enough. I actually think they do a pretty amazing job, especially under a lot of pressure. Um, but one thing that floors me, just because this is such a part of my life, is running multiple accounts. Like in my computer, I have to go have Internet Explorer, Mozilla, Safari, all up on my computer, all with their incognito tabs. And I'm going to get to the point where I'm doing that and follow BTC News, Dracos, and Crimson Clad put together GoSteam.com, which is a condenser clone. And I'm pretty soon going to have to not only do all of those different web interfaces for Steemit, I'm also going to do that same thing for GoSteam.com because I'm managing a lot of different accounts simultaneously.
Yeah, it'd be nice if you could just switch between them, wouldn't it?
It would make me very happy. But that's my if there's one feature request that I have that is killing me. But like you have solved at least half of that because half the reason why I have to go log in is that like I have all these communities that are relying on this, using it to actively post and comment, and it gets all these earnings, and I feel like a jerk if I'm not like trying at least daily to go in there and make sure that the post rewards are getting put into the wallet and they are benefiting from all the work that they're doing. So that's important to me, and Vessel makes that a ton easier.
I'm glad to hear it. It's one of those projects that I'm not exactly sure why people need it, but we all need it for some reason.
Yeah. So do you want to talk about Chain BB? What is Chain BB? Why does a minnow need to know about it? What's the benefit to them? How is it different? Because you're in a minnow support group. Most of the people that are in here are minnows, and a lot of them won't have a lot of experience outside of just. Not a lot of them don't have experience in Steemit, let alone outside of it with some of the other tools.
Absolutely. Basically, it's an alternative to Steemit, but still part of Steam. So we're all, no matter what front end or website or app or whatever you end up using, we're kind of all part of this large global community that is Steam. Steemit.com is one of the ways you can get into Steam, but since it's a blockchain and we can all of us developers can build things for it, we can build alternative interfaces that act as different portals into the blockchain itself. ChainBB is designed to be more of a traditional forum, like a Bitcoin talk or a PHPB forum, or a lot of the formats that you would have seen 10 years ago if you were in an online community. It's just built to function differently, and I think it probably is better set up to handle small groups and communities and people that really want to talk. Steemit itself is built kind of like Reddit, which is very much a reading interface. So in my want to create a more social environment, I kind of rolled back to what the internet used to be, and I'm building an alternate interface.
Yeah, I mean it floors me that they call this thing a social media platform, but I can't direct message anyone. And
Yeah,
so having additional layers on top of this, I mean, it's that exact reason that this Discord room that you're in exists, is that I thought we needed a better way to go communicate sort of live. Like a lot of people, I think Steemit is like a great place to have a pen pal, but a pretty bad place to have a conversation. Um,
absolutely.
so yeah, having alternative interfaces to go interact with the block makes tons and tons of sense. Um, what
And
is
out of the different kind, like between Discord and Steemit, those are two large extremes where Discord, if there's a really active channel with hundreds of messages in a day, it's hard to catch up on because it's all kind of jumbled together. And Steemit's on the other end of the spectrum where there's a brief moment of discussion about something, but then it kind of fades away because it falls off the front page. I'm hoping ChainBB lands somewhere in the middle where it can help you maintain a longer conversation that's not quite as fast as Discord.
Yeah, I mean, the number of people that walk into our Discord and say, "Wow, Discord moves fast." We have like 4 or 5 different memes, kind of like pre-prepared for the different people types that are complaining about it, um, and it happens a lot. So, yeah, it's been a struggle to try to find like where, I want to do something social. How do I figure out within Steemit to do that? It wasn't obvious, and it wasn't until I found SteamSpeak and sort of found Banjo and Inertia and Fierce to Kin that I could start seeing like, hey, these kind of community rooms that are off on the side can actually have some real benefits to other people. And then I was like, okay, I can go put this to use for minnows and try to help them grow and do some re-steams and get a community around it. Um, apart from the sort of ability to communicate at a moderate pace with one another, how does Chain BB help small communities or even larger communities um, kind of form that community? What aspect of that do you think holds them there? Is it the rewards? Is it just the interface? Is it the conversation pace? What do you think is really? Because to me, the like community aspect is huge. So, what is it about Chain BB that is helping those communities form?
I think it's mostly in just the lack of what Steemit offers right now. We have communities coming out at some point, which is going to help that. But right now, on Steam itself and on the blockchain as a whole, there's not really a good way to start a community unless you start using a tag. And that tag is only really going to stay active for, the basically 24 hours, but 7 days if you want to count the whole payout window. And then it's just going to kind of disappear.
Unless it
With
starts getting abused, right? Somebody's going to be like, "Oh, this is making money. I better go tag on
right,
this too." I've seen a
and
couple iterations of that happen already.
and then you have spam to deal with and just kind of clutter. ChainBB, on the other hand, like if you build a forum and somebody goes and replies to a post that's 3 months old, that post is now at the top of those forums again. That conversation is revived again. The rewards for the original post are gone because that's the rules of the blockchain, but at least the conversation in the community can continue to move on that topic.
How do you think that you could eventually like um, replace things like Bitcoin talk? Do you feel like this is an avenue where you can sort of encroach on other places where this model is still successful and get them to switch because there's crypto
I,
rewards involved?
I think so. I think that it would be a good home for pretty much every coin itself. Um, there's Litecoin talk, and then there's BitShares talk, and a lot of these other cryptocurrencies have forums. And Bitcoin talk, like you said, is just a huge conglomeration of all of them, basically. Um, but those are all on, kind of the traditional controlled platforms. They're not public, they're not transparent. It's the way I think about the blockchains like Steem is that it's basically open source data. It's free for everyone, and there's nobody that truly owns it. So I think they'd be right at home in a system like ChainBB as long as it supported the features that they're used to.
Do you want to talk a little bit about where you think Steemit is headed and um, how you think you can fit into that and help steer us? I mean, you have a unique position. Like, I guess I should check your own website that you have created to go help me. But last time I checked, and you're still there, as far as I know, you're sitting at the number one spot. Um, where do you think this thing is going? How do you want it to evolve? What do you think your role is? What do you think the role of witnesses is? I could
Uh,
add 8 more questions, but I'll just leave it at that.
we'll do a couple at a time. Um, I think Steam it's gonna get bigger. The interfaces will get better. A lot of the stuff that we all complain about is gonna get better. It's gonna take time to get a grasp on all of it. Um, the blockchain itself, Steam itself, is I think, going to be around even if Steemit.com fails. And if Steemit.com isn't the primary interface on Steam anymore, it's because people innovated and built something newer and better. But we're still all part of the same community. As far as where I fit in, I'm fortunate enough that I can continue to do this right now. Being a witness helps. Building these applications helps. And writing posts helps. That's kind of where I feel I fit in right now. I don't necessarily want to align myself with the company that's building it, but I think there's room for a lot of organizations. You don't just see one company building Bitcoin.
Yeah,
And it's
hopefully they're open to that. I haven't seen a lot of them like stop doing something different. I mean, I think that it's all every single one of these projects, even if they don't all point back to Steemit.com, help grow this ecosystem. And every time we grow
absolutely.
it, it helps build more goods and services that are produced here. And I think ultimately that raises the value of the currency.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at what a lot of other coins do, they try to drive adoption and they try to get a lot of services using their tokens. We primarily have a social currency here, so why wouldn't we want that social currency in as many places as possible? That's really what's going to prop the price of Steam up and, kind of make this whole system work. And then when you put smart media tokens on top of that, it's just a whole nother layer.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a big deal. I mean, I'm a little nervous about like if we're still having broadcast errors. I think that's going to kind of steer some people away. But I'm like you. I have some faith that they'll actually fix this. I mean,
Yeah,
again,
I mean,
it takes time, but they have some smart people working on this. I trust that 6 months from now, when I log into Steemit, I will still be able to access the Steam that I've accumulated.
absolutely. And I mean, we've seen the problems over the last couple weeks, which for the most part they've resolved at this point. There's still a few issues left that they're dealing with, but this kind of stuff takes time, and you can't work your devs 12 hours a day, 7 days a week.
But you can. It's savage. I mean, no,
It's
you're
rough.
right. You got these people have to live, and they get to have a life, and they get to be normal human beings, and zip out of their Steemit suits and go back to like trying to interact with real people instead of computers. And but while there's a lot of witnesses that complain about the pace of development, I got a couple pet peeves, but I've been in the publishing industry, and there's homework platforms and course management systems and all these things. Like the development of those things, it takes eons. And what Steemit has
Hmm.
done in 19 different iterations now over a year is actually kind of staggering. I mean, I know that there's still some tweaks that we want to the interface, and it would be nice if it's a little bit more user friendly for some minnows and kind of grandma Facebook to hop on board over here instead. But you know, I'm okay saying this brand new technology gets more than 1 year of life before I start saying, "Oh God, what the hell is wrong with all you bastards? You're not moving quickly enough, and you're a bunch of freaking idiots," and blah blah blah. I mean, I kind of
Yep.
dig these guys. They do a good job, and um, the one thing, I mean, I've been pretty clear that at times I've been an asset on this platform. The one thing that I still don't like is the distribution on the platform. Um, but I
It
kind
could
of,
use a little tweaking. I
yeah,
agree. And going back to what you were talking about just a minute ago with them, the pace at which things are happening. They're really building two things at once here. They're building the Steam blockchain, which is comparable to like Bitcoin or EOS or BitShares or whatever. And then they're building Steemit.com, which is a totally different thing.
yeah. No,
So there's a lot. I Yeah.
so take out your crystal ball. Where do you think Steemit is heading? Where do you think like 5 years from now, from things like price to numbers to, I don't know, any other metric, how do you think we're going to be doing? Well, you can include uptime if you're a little skeptical.
I have no idea about the price. I'm a developer. I don't understand money. I like money in that having it means I don't have to think about it. But as far as where it could go and what my crystal ball would show, the blockchain's going to be a lot bigger. um, and I think we're going to see some continued growth more so than what we've seen so far, as long as we don't hit any roadblocks.
Yeah, I think it's going to be exponential. I put out a post within the last week of so Steemit's growing at something like 2,500 accounts per day. If we just do that for a year and have no other difference, then we're going to be at I think 1.3 million accounts is where we'll hit. It'll actually be a little bit larger than that, but I don't think it's going to stay consistent like that. I think you know it will only take something like 6 months at this pace to kind of double the size of where we're at. And then by the time that we've doubled the size, I actually think the network effect will also double how quickly people are coming on board. So if I were to go look at 6 months from now, I think that we're going to hit something like 5,000 new accounts per day. So I think we're on a pretty fast growth pace. And as long as folks can keep websites up and running, and frankly, like you said, maybe it's not even Steemit. If Steemit is having too many challenges running a website interface, then it might end up being that, like Follow and Dracos and Crimson Clad have put together GoSteam. It might be that there's 50 million different small interfaces to this thing, and it's totally decentralized. And frankly, that's kind of sexy too.
Maybe somebody's going to release an app that you can actually just use Steemit as an app on your computer and there's no website anymore. Like, there are a lot of potential uses.
Yeah. Are you hinting at something there?
No.
I'm just.
That would be a lot of work.
Okay. Well,
I
was
mean,
getting
I could
excited
probably put ChainBB inside of an app, but
Hey.
I don't know. There's a lot of work. I'm not committing to it. It would be neat, but
All right. Well, I mean, put it on your radar. I don't know. I don't know what you're doing these days.
My radar's like one of those murder mystery boards that the cops assemble, where there's just like thousands of pictures with lines drawn between them.
Nice. Good analogy. All right. I'm getting some audio feedback, and it feels like we're at a pretty good stopping point, anyways. So I'm gonna pull you out of the chat room here. But Jesta, this has been phenomenal. Thank you for coming on the show. Yeah, this is getting a little rough, but that was Jesta. He's the #1 witness on Steemit. I've just pulled him off the air because of some audio issues, but he's the creator of ChainBB. He's a creator of SteamDB. He's a creator of Vessel. He's basically one of the most useful freaking developers on this entire site, and it's no wonder to me that he and Tim Cliff sort of go back and forth between the #1 and #2 witnesses on the platform. They're both like quite amazing people. So it's great to have you on the show. Thank you for coming in. I'm going to stop this recording. I'm going to go